find out the best of 5, who moves forward, Penn State or Delaware? Gentlemen, let's get into it.
Again, if you're looking at Penn State, you really got to look at, see how Rem and Stev stack up to their previous counterparts in Doodle and Wild. And Tennis Master, Corelli, you had mentioned it, that having Tennis Master back is big for this team. I think Tennis Master was a big reason also for Penn State's success. Doodle obviously pulled them out of a lot of really questionable situations at times, but Tennis Master, he'd always make that touch. He'd always find at least the challenge in midfield. And so for Penn State, that's what you want to see moving forward. As far as Delaware is concerned, they didn't have the best run, and they put together some good sequences here in the first minute. Get a dunk and into the net for Grau, a standout for Delaware, and they score first.
Well, forget about sequences. Just dunk on the big man here on Rem as Grau just comes through and pushes it past the last defender, up and over everyone. Everyone there in Delaware able to strike first against this Penn State squad.
Take the fight to your opponent, make that statement early and often. You saw Rem come around, he's like, I got the boost, I can push forward. Grau's like, no, actually, goal number 1, Delaware gets on the board.
And that shot by Rem on the far back post almost caught him. And Stev, squaring up against 2 defenders, picks up the ball, looking for Tennis Master. Tennis Master trying to play on the far side of that, and is played away by Tarv.
But still the attack off for Tennis Master, and a big miss there as it comes off the back wall. You can see how far back Stev has played here in this game in the first minute and a half or so, really locking down their defensive half as he misses the ball there in the corner, but the attack's still on for the Nittany Lions.
Tennis Master finds that ball out. He's going to have to retreat quickly, and Grau earlier grabbed that corner boost, which stinted Penn State for a little bit, but they were unable to clear it, so irrelevant now. Penn State with Rem, throws it center, but nobody's available. Tennis Master and Stev both back, popping it over, and Tennis Master makes a great save.
Improvements there from Grau, able to put that one up and over the last defender there. Stev, not the best clear, but still able to get out is Rem. And here comes Penn State. The pass over to Tennis Master, shot on target, saved away by Grau. He's doing everything for this team right now on both ends of the field. Remember last season, very clutch for Delaware when they were on stream. Grau again just shutting down that midfield for Penn State.
And while they've all been able to be saved, Penn State's shot placement, I like where they're going with it. Far side, really making defenders stretch the whole way for those saves. You want to continue to see that placement from Penn State. It will pay them dividends, but right now they're in trouble. Rem able to get a save out. Still the Human L keeps the drive alive for Delaware. Another challenge, but it's straight out to Tarv. He's met right on the defense by Stev. Rem still on that ball, but Grau is able to get back to it in time. Slow on the defensive end right now are Penn State. Stev not able to find, or excuse me, Tennis Master not able to find the ball. A good pass back over to Stev to maintain possession.
Yeah, and Stev doing a good job of pushing it past the first man to keep possession, but gets dunked immediately by Grau. But 2 commit for Delaware. This is dangerous. Stev's just got to put it on target, and he does so. Grau can't get back, and Penn State tie it up.
Yeah, Stev just taking advantage of the transition, and everybody committing there. You see the double commit on offense, and Grau is just flailing back to try to get back in time. He cannot do it. Out of boost, out of time, and Penn State have the game tied.
I'm wondering if that's going to change the game plan for Delaware. Even this early in the series, they've definitely done well with keeping pressure up, but Penn State shows that they know how to clear with velocity, can send the shot from across the other side of the field. Maybe Delaware needs to play further back.
Well, and for Delaware, that's just a big double commit. That's the big mistake there, letting Penn State have a free shot. That one might go over Tarv there as he knocks it down in front of his net. It's up to Grau to push this one away. Stev coming through, but not able to beat him to the ball.
Definitely a dangerous situation there for Delaware, but again, heads up play by Grau, who just always seems to be in the right position here in game number 1. The first 3.5 minutes have really been a struggle for both teams to find any sort of consistent possession in each other's halves. Both teams, different occasions, trying to control the ball. Tennis Master trying to find it straight down to Rem, and it's blocked immediately by Grau. And off the ceiling, Delaware, it's popped up high by the Human L. Tarv straight down off the ceiling. Stev able to play it out to the corner. Everyone on the Penn State line. Stev gets up to make that first touch. Penn State need a clear.
Good from Tennis Master just to bring that one down and force Tarv to come to the ball. Now it's up to Grau to make the save. Penn State knocking on the door. It's Rem to the back post, and he puts it away and takes the lead with less than a minute left.
Yeah, throwing this up first, Rem. This touch by Grau, it has to be over to has to be hard to the corner. He got it to the corner, but he didn't get any power on it, and Rem was just right there. And while it can be a tough angle, he had all day to line it up.
Rem just moves forward, shuts down the clear entirely. If you don't have that rapid velocity sending it back the other way, Rem's the player. He's going to punish you for it.
And a quick shot by Rem is too light. Humanel able to pull it away and carrying it the whole way, forcing Stev up. Tennis Master staying close. He's got one to beat. Insurance goal will be huge for the Nittany Lions, and he's forced back as the Humanel tries to kick it downfield and really tried to be fast on it. Grau missing the flick, trying to get it by Stev. Still Delaware threatening. Tarv wins a big challenge. Grau hunting closely against the back wall. Nobody from Delaware is ready for that. With 20 seconds left, somebody needs to be available to try to take a shot on net.
Double demolition coming out. This could be the last chance for Delaware, but with no boost on the Humanel, they're forced back into their own corner here. 10 seconds left for Delaware, and Tennis Master trying to shut it down. Tarv in pursuit to try and push down the field one more time, but it's Rem up for this one, trying to put the game away. 0-second time, it drops to the ground, and the Nittany Lions take game number 1.
If we were worried about Penn State's ability to be offensive and effective with this new roster, I think they answered that question.
Yeah, I think that I really liked what I saw from Rem in this game. Rem had a lot of solid touches on the ball, really put himself in positions to be able to follow up challenges in the midfield and be able to keep plays alive. And I liked what I saw from Penn State for the majority of that first game.
I think it's really one big mistake from Delaware that kind of just blew them out of the water here. Of course, a one-goal game, but it felt like for Delaware, if they had just not had that double commit where they gave up their first goal, it seemed like that they could maybe have a little bit more time in this game and not feel the pressure of having to score with 10, 15 seconds left. So for Delaware, it's about not making that big double commit in the midfield and capitalizing on the chances that they did have, because they did have the Nittany Lions in their end backed up a little bit, and the shots just didn't go on target.
And I got to say, that final minute from the Nittany Lions was really, really clutch as far as resource control is concerned, because there could be no counterattack in that last minute 30 seconds because Penn State had just taken all of the resources on the field. So well done by Penn State in the closing minute to really shut down Delaware's offense. And we continue on, Lauren, into game 2.
Number 2, Penn State up 1. Can Delaware answer back? Very close game for game number 1. Only a 1-score difference. Still very close.
And Grau taking this down the field. You'd love to see him continue to be a force for this Delaware team. He was in game 1. Again, just caught in a lot of difficult positions. A pass out. The Tennis Master is immediately thrown back downfield by Grau. And the touch needs to come through. Humanel was expecting it to happen against the back wall. Penn State able to keep it away from the box.
So Penn State trying to break out from their own end. And Delaware, though, doing a good job of just throwing the ball back into the corner and saying, hey, Nittany Lions, do what you can do with it here. And it keeps coming out straight to Tarv or for Gra to put it back into the mix.
And Stev trying to take this one. He almost gets back to it. Humanel does pick it away. And Rem, he gets over 1. Grau's there to try to play it back. Tennis Master with 1 challenge. And that challenge, another dunk maybe, but Rem able to pick up the save. As Delaware struggling, but finally moving over to the blue half of the field, and that's a pitch into the net. Tennis Master gets the goal here, just over a minute in.
You really feel so bad when these go in, because obviously you're not trying to put it on a target when you pinch. You're just trying to contest him and make sure that he can't actually do anything with the ball. But in the end, it goes straight to your own net on the pinch, and Penn State get a freebie with that one.
That's the second time we've seen Delaware playing up. Penn State's able to clear the ball with authority, and we just don't see the response in time. Will that shift the offensive dynamic for Delaware? We'll find out.
Well, Tarv just can't get up to the ball in time. Stev almost finding the angle. It is picked up by Grau again. Quick pass back over, and he finds Grau, but not enough power. And forced back is Tarv. Tarv immediately beat by Stev. Now Stev in the corner. He's got nothing. It's a good challenge by Delaware, and good work by Grau as well to at least get it back to midfield. But Delaware are all super close together right now. You cannot play the options here against Penn State with everybody bunched up like this, because if you beat one, you're going to beat them all.
And the demo comes out on top of, or on the human L there that makes their defense that much harder. And for Penn State, they're doing something that Rowan did very well in the last series, which was controlling those backfield boosts immediately when they gain control and have shots on target. Delaware, though, doing a much better job breaking out and not letting Penn State on the attack too long.
And that one is a high flying ball. Tarv couldn't find the angle. And it was a commit as well by the human L. Grau buying his team tons of time to get back. And human L, he takes the first, but ends up undercutting that ball. Didn't expect Stev to get the amount of touches that he did. Up is Tennis Master off the crossbar and out. Another double commit by Delaware. The human L tries to clear this away, ends up giving it away to Rem. Back over to Stev. That shot is in. 2-0 Nittany Lions.
That's a fantastic shot coming out from Stev, and the extended attack here from Penn State as a weak clear comes out from the human L is what leads to this goal here. The pass comes out from Rem, and Stev's just got to make contact with the ball to force the save from Delaware, which they just can't make, and the Nittany Lions take the lead by 2.
Penn State's just all over Delaware right now. They are swarming on offense, keeping the opportunities alive, keeping the ball on the opposite side of the field. Sooner or later, you're going to get that opportunity to score. 2-0 Penn State.
A great touch from Tennis Master, and Rem ran out of boost. Got a little too high above the ball, but still, Penn State threatening. Trying to get around it was Stev. He actually almost did get around it. Tennis Master's shot's just wide. Grau tries to clear it away, but it's only to Rem. Rem off the back wall, uncontested, cannot slip it by the human L, and it's boomed into the net again. The human L boom it downfield for the first goal of game 2.
And so for Delaware now, they get a little redemption here as this one just goes to the back of the net. Not so much more of a pinch, but the late contest pays off for the human L as it goes straight to the back of the net for Penn State, and Delaware on the board with 1:40 left.
Delaware is showing that they got some long-range artillery capabilities too. I'm not sure if that was the exact intent, but hey, we take these.
And the human L wins a big challenge here for Delaware in the midfield. Up against the back wall, and Tennis Master makes a touch out, and he can't win the challenge against the human L. Coming in quick is Stev, and Grau, or Tarv, excuse me, can't get there. Grau, the only man back. Penn State, here's Rem, playing it slow. Up top, off the crossbar, followed up, in. No, it's not. Stev misses off the post. Tennis Master can't follow it up. A gap by the Penn State offense. They still retain this 1-goal lead, but it's in danger now.
Oh, big miss there from Stev is the follow-up from Delaware, not able to come through, but the pressure still on. And for Penn State, on the offensive side, they can't put it away in a scary situation on the defensive side of things.
Back in midfield, Grau finds a touch out. Human L, he loses to Rem. Rem's won so many of these challenges. Sans that dunk that happened at the beginning of game 1. Oh, the slowdown on the changeup of the human L gets there in time for Tennis Master's shot. Rem picks this up off the back wall. It's defended for now. Human L got bumped on his way out, and Stev has a free shot, and it's 3-1 for Penn State.
So pay attention to the two players on the back wall here. It's Human L and Grau who are kind of fighting in front of each other. They accidentally bump into each other. That's what opens up the space for Stev to come through and put that ball away. And of course, the flailing across the net for Delaware didn't help. Penn State breaks down the defense and they get the lead by 2.
It just feels like Penn State, they're finding offense without having to too heavily commit. So when the ball does bounce off the back wall, they're in perfect position to capitalize and spike one through the net. 3-1. Delaware, they got to find something else to get on offense.
We were really wondering how this Penn State team was going to do without Doodle and Wild, specifically Doodle, who, Corelli, as you said, just hard carried this team at times. And sometimes a more cohesive, closer together in skill unit can be more effective as everybody's contributing evenly to the team. And Penn State right now, at least against Delaware, they look like one cohesive unit.
Yeah, big demo there from Tennis Master. And instead of letting that ball roll up the wall, it would have been much tougher for Rem to get to that one. Tennis Master knocks it up to his teammate. The third man rotation comes in. He's got nothing to lose at that point, up by 2. And Penn State put a 4th goal home, and they take the 2nd game.
Penn State showing that they still very much are the threat that we've seen them in previous instances. This roster change does not seem to have slowed them down at all. On the other side, Delaware, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of their offense in game number 1 in particular, the goal that they had, was Grau challenging things in the midfield. And it seems to me like Penn State identified that, and they've just shut down those instances and opportunities, and Delaware just hasn't come up with a plan B yet.
And it feels like you look at the stats, the shots in this game, Penn State had 10. Delaware had way less than that. I think it was 5.
5, yeah.
So for Delaware, it's about putting more opportunities on target. Now, 5 isn't really a bad number, but giving up 10 shots is pretty rough. You're obviously on defense for a lot of this game, and definitely told the story here.
2-0 right now. Penn State looking pretty good for another solid 3-0 performance. Unless Delaware turns it around, they got one more chance to keep themselves alive in this series.
Really like to see Delaware. Oh no, Penn State almost getting the first goal real quickly. But you'd really like to see Delaware in game number 3 here try to slow down the pace of play. Try to control the ball like the Humanel just tried to right there. But more so in situations where they're on the defensive end where Penn State are really, really killing them. They need to try to make these attackers miss and try to force Penn State to play some defense, because right now, in the last 2 games, I don't feel like Penn State's played any defense, sans a couple of great saves from Tennis Master. Up high is Rem, excuse me. Tennis Master on the challenge, lost to Tarv, but Stev, he's gonna boom it right back into play. Gets the bump as well! The old pop, bump, goal, 1 for the Nittany Lions.
That's such a smart play. You see Stev just kind of throw this one downfield, and Gra absolutely had the save there, but then he chases him down and punches him into his own net and away from the ball. Penn State get a clever first goal.
Jorby, that's the fullback play we see every now and again out of the aggressive team.
He was his own fullback on that play too. And those are real fun. Those are real fun to watch no matter what level they happen at. And that light shot turned away by Growl. Tarv up for this, and this has been happening with this Delaware team where sometimes they are looking for these passes downfield, but they're either way too high or they get the pass and then they miss. That net is open, they gotta score this, and they do. The Humanel able to pick it up off the demo. Delaware tie the game.
Yeah, this was a great play for Delaware coming off the side wall. A big miss there from Tarv, but Gra able to back him up, and then the Humanel to follow up the play off the back wall. Of course, got some help with some demolitions there, and the defense kind of got broken down as some bumps came out as well on the Penn State side. But either way, Delaware will take that equalizer.
They needed to do that too. If they somehow managed to miss that opportunity, that would have been devastating for their chances to see potential game number 4 happen. Brown trying to get back on the offense already, but that's a solid clear.
And that touch immediately challenged by the Humanel. Stev doesn't have the greatest touch on this. Another chance for Delaware. Humanel looking closely. He gets the goal off that missed touch from Stev, and Delaware have their first lead of the series.
Yeah, big mistake from Stev here, and really from Tennis Master as well. He goes for the boost instead of the ball here, which opens up the opportunity for the Humanel to put that one away.
Sometimes you can get out of a rhythm when the enemy team scores on you. You've been controlling the offense for so much over the course of the best of 5. It's all right, they got a goal. All right, guys, let's just get back into our rhythm. Oh, wait, they scored again. Oops.
Tarv back over down to Grau, but immediately challenged by Tennis Master. And, you know, not the biggest thing to worry about if you're Penn State, considering the way that they've been playing in this series, but Grau, a great catch in his own corner. He made one miss. Now he makes another miss off the corner, looking for the demo. And Tarv strikes for Delaware. They take a 2-goal lead.
This one's all on Grau here. He makes the first defender miss, and then he goes down the line, forces the challenge weak, and it goes off the corner to Tarv, who puts it away. That's the positioning, and that's the solo play that you want to see out of Delaware. They execute perfectly as they put themselves up by 2.
Excellent point guard play there by Grau. I saw him in the first game, set up plays for the team, get offensive, get down the field as he wants to. Magic starts to happen for Delaware.
And again, keeping the ball close to you, being able to control, to possess, to find your teammates in space. The more consecutive touches you can get as a team, or the more bad touches you can force onto the other team, the more success you're going to have. Delaware have that here in 3 goals, fighting for their tournament lives. Rem trying to find it on the other side, and again, Penn State down by 2. It's by no means insurmountable. And Stev in the corner, he wins another great challenge. Tennis Master following him close from the other side, actually still got a shot out wide of the net, but Rem not able to win, and Humanel has the entire Penn State offense beat. They're all playing a little too far up on that one. Stev carrying it by 1. Does he got the dunk? It doesn't matter. Tennis Master with the feint gives Stev the goal.
So this is a tough save here from Grau, because he doesn't know if Tennis Master's actually going to connect on this. So he's looking for the block on Tennis Master or just the follow through from Stev, and he can't tell which one's going to happen, and he picked right in the middle, and he wouldn't have saved either one, to be honest, if they came through. But for Penn State, they finally find a second goal, and they give themselves enough time to tie it up.
Nice swarming offense there by Penn State. Put Glaw in just an unfortunate position to say at the very least. Catch 22. One score away from tying this up. Penn State's rallying back.
Yeah, and plenty of time here for Penn State. And look, they're all ready to move down the field. Stev winning a big challenge. It is a super aggressive positioning by the Nittany Lions on that play. It could have killed them, but Rem figured things out real quickly, got on his own back wall to make a challenge on the transition. And again, Stev been trying his best to keep it close. It's been tough for Delaware. They've been trying to meet Penn State when they try to change pace of play and they look to try to slow things down. And for the most part in Game 3, Delaware have been successful in winning those challenges, but now the pendulum slowly is swinging towards Penn State, and another great challenge from Stev. He essentially dunks the defender. Rem, not the best touch by him, but it only gets it out to the corner, and Tennis Master finds one. He gets a second touch back out to Stev. Interesting sequence of events, and Rem gets back just in time for the save.
Now Rem has a lot of time and space here. Doesn't actually get control of the ball, but you can tell Penn State slowly closing in. That one's actually off the crossbar as Delaware is able to get out. A tough bounce to read, but Delaware now off the back wall, looking for maybe a little bit of a cushion here. Only up by one with 40 seconds left. Now Rem beats one. Stev trying to go over Gra. He can't get it. This is a weak save in front of the box, cleared away by the Human L.
Again, I don't like the positioning on offense from Penn State here. They had so many chances to keep possessions alive. They're still threatening here. Stev's shot way wide with less than 30 seconds to go. Tennis Master has a beat on the ball. The pass is, oh, maybe a shot. No, it's just wide. Rem was following that to the ground, and Penn State forced back again. This is what I'm talking about. They're not able to keep possessions alive in the orange half of the field. They're not able to control boost, and that doesn't allow them to actually pull defenders out of net for long enough for them to score. Their positioning's too aggressive on offense. They need to shore it up. They need to be more respectful to this Delaware defense because it killed them at the end here in Game 3. Delaware stay alive in this series.
Just barely Delaware eke out a win here in Penn State, not able to get the clean sweep. Delaware staying alive, and you really have to think back to that solo play from Gra over to Tarv that really kind of ignited the offense for them. Looked much, much better in this game, but to Jorby's point there at the end, kind of throwing the ball away and just saying, hey, we got to get to 0 seconds. Let's just climb our way into the end of this game and crawl there. And they do. They do get their first win here, and they prove to themselves they can take down this new Penn State squad.
Delaware was impressive for me on both sides of the ball. They ran up the score pretty well, able to score consistently, back-to-back pretty much. And they managed to keep their lead, especially in that last minute, just on how much teamwork they had in their defense. It was like, I need to go get boost. You got this defense, you got the block. Okay, I'm moving in. You tip it forward. It's a weak clear, but I can shove it back towards center, keep the ball out of the net. That's the kind of play that I want to see out of this team, and we might see a Game 5 off of it. Let's find out, though. Penn State up 2-1 over Delaware, looking to close the series out of Game 4.
And Penn State really need to close it out here. If you give Delaware any room in game number 4 and they force Game 5, Penn State are really put on their back wheels, and it's going to be difficult as Delaware continues to wake up. And the Human L going to catch this, make one miss. There's an initial flip down. He really recovered on it, but Penn State get the clear.
Yeah, for Penn State, they probably were watching the games earlier. There's already been a reverse sweep. There's been multiple game number 5. So for Penn State, you don't want to go to Game 5, and you definitely just want to go home with a win. Here, Tennis Master trying to make that a reality here as Penn State go up by 1.
In a tough position here, Grau he's got to play this read off a Tennis Master. He's not at the best angle to challenge him at the point of origin, so he's trying to read the touch on Tennis Master as he's coming across the back wall. Tennis Master never actually touches it, and so it just falls into the net for Penn State. And I gotta say, Tennis Master, I don't think you're gonna get away with that a third time. That's the second time he went for the ball, didn't end up hitting it, and it turned into a goal for his team. So the feints have worked so far, but you know, after fool me twice, I'm not sure it's gonna work again.
The most important thing for Delaware right now is just to have short-term memory about that. That cannot allow them to tilt. Human L with that block says to me they're still very much into this game. Grawl comes back for the defense too.
I don't like that positioning on Delaware. Everyone was caught in the corner, although they get on the transition here, and Rem able to clean that up high. It's picked up by Stev. Tennis Master's racing for it, and the Human L able to pull it away. So while I didn't like their positioning earlier, they were able to clear the ball, and at the end of the day, guys, that's all that really matters.
And really for Delaware, it's about bringing the ball down and forcing a Penn State defender to come to him and start breaking down the defense. What we see what works well in the CRL is moving the ball left and right, back and forth, and spread out that defense so you can break down the back boost and take it away from the defenders. And Penn State and Delaware, really, neither of them have done it too well in this game. I think the Penn State seems to be a little bit of a faster team here, but for Delaware, they've hung in there, and really I feel like if Graw's on the ball, there's a lot of magic to be happening.
Penn State still threatening here in the attacking third, but it is cleared away by the Humanel and trying to find another pick on it. And the Humanel is just, he's been a dive bomber for Delaware. Oh, that's a big open net for Tennis Master. Penn State, a 2-goal lead here early in game 4.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The first big miss there as Rem carries it across the wall, and then Stev, a fantastic pass out. Nobody home from Delaware as everyone was kind of gravitating towards the play. They didn't think it was going to bounce out towards the midfield, and Penn State doubled their lead.
Just too much speed on that ball at midfield. Delaware, we've seen them caught forward before earlier in the series. Penn State back to punishing them for that over-aggressive position.
Oh, Stev almost finding the second touch. It's a good challenge by Grau, who's been standing up on a lot of this defensive effort for Delaware. And again, Penn State, they have control of the resources right now. Rem on that challenge, Stev following him closely. And that's something that I've noticed about this Penn State team so far, specifically for Stev, wondering how he fits into this roster. He likes to shadow his teammates pretty closely and really try to follow up those touches and especially the challenges, expecting Delaware to meet them on challenges. Sometimes he's been burned on it, but Penn State have most of the time been good about having that third man cover the back end, allowing Stev to play an effective second man, and it's really worked out for them for the most part. And Penn State, with this 2-goal lead, still threatening on this drive. They've looked good.
Delaware trying to find their way out now with less than 2 minutes left. It's up to them to try and make a difference here as Penn State can kind of sit on this 2-0 lead, and Jorby pointing it out, saying Stev kind of sitting back, being that calculated man in the third or second position and waiting for the play to develop. He's not going to let Delaware have any freebies, so Delaware's got to get creative moving down the field.
And Rem, he can't work by one attacker, but Tennis Master is able to boom that one away. Humanel can't find the touch. That could be deadly for Delaware, and it's a save for now, but it's still deadly here for Delaware. Delaware get out of harm's way for now, but the knife is coming right back. Stev off the back wall, looking for the shot as Tennis Master off the crossbar. Grau gets it away to the Humanel. Delaware survive. They still need to score.
And they're still locked in their end with a minute left. Stev able to keep that ball in the orange side. That's a good touch by the Humanel, though. Now Delaware's got to clamp down, got to put the pressure on the net, put a shot on target. As you see Stev, meaning Tarv there, the shot was going to come through. Humanel still keeping this one, looking for the follow-up. It's Tennis Master, though, who finds Rem on the outlet.
And great by Rem to try to control that. Lost it on the touch initially in midfield. It still kills so much time for Delaware. The Humanel coming in on this. It actually may generate a goal, but a demo on to Stev is not going to matter. It is boomed back the other way, just wide of the post. 30 seconds left. 2 goals every 15 seconds for Delaware. They're going to try again. Grau's there, shot on target. No, it's not. Just wide of the net. Stev picks up the save.
Grau's been very quiet in this game. It's time to step up with 20 seconds left.
Quick pass over to Grau, looking for the Humanel. He's going to find him on the sidewall. No, Grau picks up his own pass. Thought it was Tarv that came in on it, but now 10 seconds. You're just trying to score with time left if you're Delaware. The Humanel racing towards the corner. He can't find the touch. Rem, he makes the challenge against one. The Humanel looks for a pass. He doesn't find his man, and Penn State move on in the tournament.
A panic there for Delaware, and they were trying to pass it back there to Tarv, who couldn't get there in time. Penn State able to win out 2-0 here and 3-1 in the series over Delaware.
Penn State just proved to be the more consistent threat throughout the course of the best of 5. Not able to see game 5. Delaware just somehow falls behind. Again, I feel like it hinges a lot on Grau's ability to make plays for the team. If he's getting bumped, if he's not getting the boost that he's looking for, if he's not getting the looks and reads that he needs, the rest of the team just doesn't really seem to be able to have anything to follow up on or start themselves.
And again, I felt like Grau was very, very quiet in this last game, in particular in game number 4. He was a hard carry for them, it felt like, in the first couple of games, and then all of a sudden just went off the radar there for that last game. So I really look to him to be the playmaker for that Delaware team. Unfortunately, they will be falling to Penn State. And Penn State, our land team from CRL 18, staying alive here with a brand new roster who, quite frankly, didn't look that bad.
No, they did not look that bad, and I think they played well together for the most part. I think later in the tournament they may find some issues playing a little bit too aggressively. I still want to see them be a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? What not passive? What's more than passive but less than aggressive? What's in the middle? Whatever's in the middle, I want to see. Okay, I want to see a more neutral positioning in terms of their offensive production, because other teams in this tournament in the East Division will absolutely kill you on the transition if you do that too much.
Selectively aggressive. That's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, why not? Penn State does move forward, not in the fashion that we're expecting them or we normally see out of them, much more consistent play. Let's take a look at the bracket and see what they have lined up for them going forward. We saw Rowan University, the scrappy upstarts, definitely showed some signs of serious aggression. Corelli, you said that Rowan might not be able to get away with that. Some of the offensive plays in against a more aggressive, higher skilled team. Penn State might be that squad to shut that down.
Big test for Rowan against Penn State, and of course Rutgers down there waiting for the results of Maryland Red and Drexel. So an interesting East region we have here.
Very competitive overall. Twitch chat, let's see how accurate you were or were not. Let's see what you thought, who was going to come out ahead. Woo! 73% for Penn State. I get it. They went to the land, but again, it's not in the way that we thought it would be. Without their doodle, without their big playmaker, this was a much more well-rounded effort, and I think that's better overall. I'd rather have a team that we can all step up in the moment that we need to, rather than like, hey, put us on your back, please.
Absolutely.
But we do have another tweet here. Let's see if I can keep my personal streak going here. SD Melee TV.
Bam.
What a series. Penn State had no problem crossing the Delaware.
Wow.
I see you out here. I like it.
They're not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. It goes to game 4, but at every stage of it, it felt like that was Penn State's series to lose, so you were absolutely correct. Thank you very much for the comment. I want to hear what else you guys have to say. Use hashtag CRL19. Give us your questions. Let us know your thoughts. This has been a pretty wild Eastern bracket so far. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. More action ahead.